between Wesley and Delaware State University. Today we have members of our advising team, Jarso Segbe, who serves as our Associate Vice President for our Office of Student Success here at Delaware State University. And we have representatives from Wesley College, Ms. Christine McDermott and Dr. Danielle Archibald. We also have with us today members of our records registrations, financial aid and student accounts team. We have Dr. Terrell Holmes, Robin Parker from Student Accounts, Mr. Al Dorset from Financial Aid, and we should have Mr. Kareem McLemore from the Admissions Office. And then after we hear from the team in records and registration, we will follow up with a presentation from Mr. Philip Holmes in housing. So I'm going to turn it over now to Ms. Segbe, and we will move forward with the additional presentations. And then we will have questions. Thank you. Ms. Segbe.
Next order. You all this morning. Presentation has a lot of information for you. Get up and rolling. We'll get going. Presentation with the areas that we house in the Office of Student Success, advisement, integrated academic support services, accessibility services, is also under the Office of Success. Prevention and retention unit is under the Office of academic service for student athletes, and our program. And lastly, our year program is the expert learning and honors program. Programs are all in the Office of Student Success. So this thing, this morning, is it better? This morning, we're going to cover the procedures that we've outlined for the trans. We're going to give you information on our current DESU students, what you need to do, and how you can get yourself prepared for registration, and as well as our WT students that will be transitioning over. So I'm still waiting for the slides to come up, but I think I'll just continue here. So the advisement procedures for registration sessions. We're calling them how to register events. And students have been sent that communication to their various email addresses, and they're supposed to register for those events.
Ms. Simby, please take yourself off of video and speak from there. Dr. DeLauder, we may want to move to the next person and then come back to Jarso.
Okay, so Jarso, you're on mute.
I went on mute. Was I on mute the whole time?
You disappeared, so maybe you should start again.
Okay. All right. Okay. Video down, perhaps. That's going to video.
Yes, take off your video.
Okay.
And try.
All right. All right. So can you pull up the thank you. Thank you. All right. So start again. So, again, this is information from the Office of Student Success. Next slide, please. I will give you a brief overview of the programs housed in the Office of Student Success. We have the Athletic Advisement, Integrated Academic Support Program, the Office of Academic Services for Student Athletes, the SAS, Student Accessibility Service Programs, Opportunity Scholars. The library is also under the Office of Student Success, and the Experiential Learning and Honors, as well as our Intervention and Retention Unit. And lastly, our Advisement Unit, which is the largest unit within the Office of Student Success, in addition to the library. Next slide, please. So the advisement and pre-registration procedures for our current students begin with what we're calling step one, where they register for these how to register events that we have scheduled all throughout the month of March. The students attend these how to register events. They walk through completing their course selection forms with advisors who are available. And then they complete the form, send it to their advisors, schedule their IDP appointments via the Appointment Plus, and then juniors and seniors are given their OPINs to register. Once registration opens, freshmen and sophomores, advisors will put in their registrations once it's completed. Next. So the how to register events, these are just dates that we've scheduled them. We've held 4 sessions, both evening and morning. We have one today, as well as the 22nd, which is a catch-all session. We broke them out by colleges. So we've had some good attendance, and we're going to do a catch-all session on March 22nd in the evening. Next slide, please. So currently, we're encouraging students to get their appointments in once the schedules are done. Once the course selections are submitted. These are just our count by college right now for appointments, and we know we have a lot more students, so please get in and schedule your appointments. Next slide, please. The WC and DSU advisement procedures are as follows. So our SSR team, as Dr. DeLauder introduced, our colleagues at the Wesley campus will be completing, we'll be sending out communication to students to let them know what the process is. They will schedule appointments with the SSR team and some faculty advisors who will be supporting the SSR team. And then a pre-registration appointment will be held. They will complete the course selection forms. We've redesigned the curricula sheet to map out the WC equivalent courses that are coming in from Wesley. And once those are completed, the SSR team at Wesley will submit those to the DSU advisement team. The DSU advisement team will then upload those and register the students. And then we will later have a meet and greet planned for early July after the acquisition, and then IDP appointments will follow beginning late July for our transitioning Wesley students. Next slide, please. So the contact information for our WC colleagues are as follows. So Dr. Dania Archambault is going to coordinate all of the College of Health and Behavioral Science and CAS majors. And then Miss Christine McDermott will coordinate for the College of Business and the College of Humanities, Education, and Social Sciences. Next slide, please. And so we just thought to add this in. It's a lot of information. I'm not going to read to you line by line, but we have Once your DSU 100 numbers are assigned as a DSU student, we will assign you in banner to your advisement team, and then we'll disseminate that information to you. You'll get information from the SSR team to know which advisement team you are now been placed on based on your academic major. Next slide, please. So for April, May, and June, we have a couple of activities. We're going to continue the advisement and registration for 2021 students, as well as our continuing students, prioritizing our seniors and juniors. And then we're hoping to complete the continuing students registration by the end of April, because we're going to go full swing into the fall 2021 cohort registrations during new student orientation. And then June and July, that will continue. We'll have the meet and greet and then the IDP appointments for our continuing students. And then the fall 2021 cohort will begin their IDP appointments as we do with our regular population come the fall. Next slide, please. So this is just additional information for you to just understand how your advisor is assigned. So for each college, we have a team leader, and then we have the list of advisors, and advisees are assigned by their last name. So for example, for the College of Agriculture, Science, and Technology, these are the last names of how students are assigned to advisors. Next slide, please. For the College of Humanities, Education, and Social Sciences, it's the process. These are assigned by last names, and these are the majors that are in each advising team for this college and the advisors that are assigned. Next slide, please. And then College of Health and Behavioral Science the same way, and then the College of Business. Next slide, please. The same process. Next slide. So our advisement operating hours, Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 7 p.m. And then Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. Most of our services continue to remain virtual. Some reminders for you. Pre-registration begins March 31st to April 22nd. This is for our continuing students at DSU, but for the WC students, as President Allen announced, we're preparing for that process for March 22nd. Schedule your IDP 2 advising appointments. The link is here, and you can also access the link on DESU where it says schedule appointments. Most importantly, check your student account status, because you will do all of this work and may not be able to register because there's a hold on your account. And then inform your advisor if you can't access Appointment Plus or you have any questions. Thank you. So this is just contact information for us if you need to contact the Office of Success, our email and phone number.
So thank you, Ms. Sabe. Could you explain for the Wesley students what an IDP is?
Thank you. It's the individual development plan, and that is a goal-setting tool that we have at Delaware State, where students work with advisors to set goals for how they plan on achieving all of the milestones developed by them in collaboration with their advisors for the semester. So they schedule IDP 1 weeks 1 through 6, and then IDP 2 week 6 through the end of the semester.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
We will move next to the registration records and student accounts presentation.
Good morning, Hornets of Delaware State University. My name is Terrell Holmes, and I'm the registrar here at the institution. My job is I'm the chief custodian of all academic records here at the institution, and we're excited to invite our returning students as well as our new Wesley students. As you know, our motto is "It all matters." So we will make sure that you understand that as you begin your matriculation here at Delaware State. All right, so as we begin the pre-registration process, and Ms. Segby broke it down for you guys fairly well. Just want you to know a couple of updates and a couple of highlights. As she stated, for our Wesley students who are our future Hornets, beginning on next Monday, the 22nd, you will begin hearing from your assigned advisor as it relates to Fall 21 advisement and registration. Understand that by Monday, you will have your Delaware State University ID number as well as an email address. That information will be sent to you through your Wesley email. So we will be communicating initially through your Wesley email to you as it relates to your credentials for Delaware State. So we want you to be on the lookout for that on Monday or Tuesday. Commit those ID numbers and that email address to memory. It will also include information on how to access your MyDSU account as well as your email address. Very important that you commit that to memory because that will be your key to success here at Delaware State University. Just as a reminder, and again, this will be stressed in your individual advising areas, registration for the Fall 21 semester, it will be synchronized to your current graduation status. So essentially that means it will keep you on track with where you are. As you can see, our academic affairs, chairs, deans, advisors have worked very hard to make sure that from an advising standpoint, that your advising will be seamless. Your matriculation from Wesley College to Delaware State will be seamless. So if you're in your sophomore year now at Wesley College, you will continue with your junior level courses here at Delaware State. Know and understand that there are a lot of people that have worked very hard to make that a seamless process. Your major program will be converted to the equivalent Delaware State University major or program. Again, our chairpersons, our advisors, our provost has worked very hard to make sure that the program that you're in at Wesley College, that there is an equivalent program at Delaware State University. And once you're pushed into our banner system, you will receive what we consider the equivalent program at Delaware State. In some cases, Delaware State University is adopting new programs to accommodate your program so that your program could essentially be the same. It could be named a little differently, but essentially it is the same. So we need you to know that. So on your academic record, you will see that program of study or equivalent program of study at Delaware State. Understand this, and this is a very important part. You are not a transfer student at Delaware State University. You will begin your journey at Delaware State University as a continuing Delaware State University student. We're not looking at you as a transfer student. We're not managing your record as a transfer student. You're not getting a letter from admissions and being admitted as a transfer student. You are being admitted as a continuing Delaware State University student for the fall 2021 semester. So because we've had to create your ID numbers and your email addresses up front, your academic history will be loaded a little later in the process. So as you get your ID number, as you get your email address, and as you're looking at your Delaware State University record, beginning next week, in the early weeks of March and April, your academic history will not be there. But your advisors they know your academic history, and they will advise you based on what you've done and what you need to do for the fall semester. Also, just as a reminder, all transfer work accepted at Wesley College and all credits earned at Wesley College will be brought over to your Delaware State University record. All credits will be accepted. All credits will be present on your academic record. As it relates to pre-registration process for our current students, many of you have probably already met with your advisor or maybe still meeting with your advisor as part of the advisement process, which began in early March at Delaware State University. So we do want you to know that beginning first the 29th of March, our priority pre-registration begins, but on March the 31st, we will begin our traditional pre-registration process for the fall 21 semester. Also know that the summer 21 schedule is also available to you for registration. So if you're interested in summer courses at Delaware State University, as also with the fall 21 semester, you can also look at our schedule and plan to be a part of our summer schedule. Do know that on summer school is online only, so that as you are preparing for that, many of you are going home. You can still sign up for summer school. You can still be a part of the summer school here at Delaware State University because it is all online. Also, be sure to register for the fall 21 semester prior to you leaving for the fall semester. Very important that you do that if you want to take advantage of securing housing and getting the desired schedule that you want. So I know many of you, you have your preferences of when you want to take classes, whether you want to take those in the morning or if you want to take those classes in the evening, or if you want to take those courses online. Very important that you pre-register, take advantage of the opportunity to pre-register early, and also pre-register to secure housing if you plan to be on campus. Now, our Wesley College students, as well as our current students, the My DSU portal is your lifeline to the institution. So on the My DSU portal, all the information that you would need related to your academic calendar, how to reset your password, access to DegreeWorks, access to Blackboard, access to requesting a transcript, making a payment online, all those things are indicated on your My DSU page. So very important that you know that page, and as you can see at the end of the timeline, that page is my.desu.edu. You can access your academic record 24/7. You can look at not only your academic record, but your financial status. You can look at whether you're in good standing with the institution, all those things that are related to you and unique to you, and tell your academic journey at Delaware State University can be listed on your My DSU account. Be sure to check this early and often. Be sure to log in if you have not done so already. I know our Wesley College folks that are coming over, again, that D100 number, very important that you commit that to memory so that you can access your My DSU account. You can create or reset your PIN number on the left side of that page. Once you get in, any information related to, again, financial aid, your 1098-T, personal information, academic record, accepting your loans, all those things can be accessed in the My DSU portal. Again, check your My DSU portal. Be sure to log into your DSU account, the DSU email account once you receive that information. Log into that your account and your email early and often so that you're apprised of all the announcements that are coming out as it relates to the institution. Also, that you know what's going on, whether our Office of Financial Aid or the Records Office or the Office of Student Accounts needs to reach out to you to take care of any business. Also, your advisor will be reaching out to you eventually through your My DSU account. Again, thank you for continuing your journey here at Delaware State. We're excited to serve you. And as your registrar, I'm looking forward to meeting you and looking forward to, in 4 years or less, you walking across the stage and us conferring a degree for you.
Good morning, returning Delaware State University students, as well as welcome Wesley students, now part of the Delaware State University family. I'm Al Dorsett, Executive Director of Financial Aid, and I'll just go over kind of preparing you for the financial aid process. As Dr. Holmes mentioned, using your banner self-service, My DESU portal is very important when it comes to financial aid. The first part is we want to make sure that you've done your FAFSA. Our school code is 001428, and we want to make sure that you've done your FAFSA. For Wesley students, we did send out communication to when you were doing your financial aid, not only put Wesley school code on there, but put Delaware State University school code on there so that we would have your FAFSA. Once you are brought over as a continuing student for Wesley students, you will start receiving communication from Delaware State University. We will be able to upload your FAFSA into the system. to start you along with your process. Move on to the next. So when you log on to your My Banner self-service, there's a financial aid tab that you will click on. With that financial aid, your award, as well as other information. You will put the academic year for the upcoming academic year will be the 21-22 academic year, and you will be able to see any of this information. One part is we've moved over to a online mobile platform when it comes to verification, as well as special conditions and other pieces of financial aid. So we've asked all our students to sign up for the online mobile process. It is DSU.verifymyfafsa.com. When you go into your financial aid tab and you go into requirements, there is a link there under FAFSA. So one way to confirm that we've received your FAFSA is by going on the Banner self-service and looking, and when you see that code FAFSA under requirements, that confirms that we've received your FAFSA. That will also provide this link for students to actually go in and sign on to create an account with the online mobile platform. So to create an account with the online mobile platform, the first thing that they'll ask you to do is provide your D number as the username and your email as the username, and your D number as the password. Let's stay consistent. Some students do change it and do forget it. To me, you'll never forget your D number. So the username will be your DSU email, and the password will be your D number. It's a single sign-on, so you'll be able to access much information from there. Then after that, there's a confirmation of student information, making sure that the information you provided on your FAFSA matches to connect you with the correct record. Once you do that, you'll be able to register your account, and you will see if you were selected for verification and if any documents are needed. To do it as early as possible is great, because then students can be awarded and know what financial aid package they have for this upcoming fall and be prepared to adjust, maneuver however they need to maneuver. Again, this just shows real quick that DSU email, and then the password will be initially the D number that is provided to you. So just last with financial aid, once we receive your FAFSA, if you've been selected for verification and you complete that, we will send all your documents out from there. You'll also receive an electronic award letter that will go to you. It's basically telling you to click a link, and that will be your award letter. For any questions, please go to our website. Under financial aid, you can make an appointment or contact us directly. Thank you.
And before we get into the Office of Student Accounts, just for a point of reference, all students who are coming from Wesley over into the Delaware State University family will be receiving correspondence from the Office of Admissions with a welcoming letter with your D number, your email address. So be looking for that, and it's coming to your Wesley email address. And once you receive that information, all the correspondence that's provided by the Delaware State University typically comes from your Delaware State University email address. But your D number and Delaware State University and welcoming letter will be coming to your Wesley email address. Ms. Parker.
Good afternoon, returning Delaware State University students, and welcome WC students. We are so excited to start this journey with you. My name is Robin Parker, and I am the Associate Director of Credit and Collections for the Office of Student Accounts. This afternoon, or actually this morning, we are just going to walk you through a few functions that are supported by the Office of Student Accounts in an effort to make this experience a pleasant one for you. As mentioned earlier, this is the My DESU portal. This is a portal that you are obviously going to become very familiar with. In this portal, you will access your payment portal, process laundry vouchers, process print vouchers, and process book vouchers. Next slide, please. In the Banner self-service, this is the portal that you will use to process payments. If you have to process a payment to a specific semester, the semester is indicated on your Nelnet payment portal. You're going to click on your banner self-service link, log into your self-service using your student ID number, click on the Student Service tab, and then click on the Nelnet payment portal link. Next slide, please. How to submit a payment. Again, these are payments in reference to NSO fees, housing deposits of that nature. So you're going to log into the Nelnet payment portal and again, process your payment. It's pretty self-explanatory and it will walk you through the necessary steps. Next slide, please. How to submit a payment. You're going to enter your student ID number, your name, and your email address. And again, from that point, it's going to walk you through the necessary steps. How to submit a housing payment. To pay your NSO fee or your tuition, you're going to select View Account, Details, select Make a Payment. To pay your housing deposit, you're going to select Traditional Housing Deposit. Next slide, please. How to enroll in a payment plan. Delaware State University has partnered with Nelnet Campus Commerce to support our payment plans. Our payment plan for the fall semester is currently open. There's a $70 enrollment fee, and there are 9 payments. So you will go into, again, your banner self-service, and you will log onto Student Services to establish your payment plan. Next slide, please. Hours of operation. Our lobby, which is located in the Claiborne Smith building, is open from Monday through Thursday during the hours of 8:30 and 3:30, and on Friday between the hours of 8:30 and 1:30. Our WebEx is open Monday through Thursday between the hours of 8:30 and 8, and on Friday between the hours of 8:30 and 4:30. On this slide is indicated our student account email address and also the web link, again, that is open between the hours of 8:30 to 8, Monday through Thursday, and 8:30 to 4:30 on Friday. In addition is our contact number. Next slide, please. Thank you again, and welcome to DSU.
Thank you, everyone from the registration records and student accounts and student financial aid team for a very informative presentation. We will now move to housing with Mr. Phillip Holmes.
Thanks, Dr. Lauder. Again, my name is Phillip Holmes. I'm the Director of Housing and Residential Education here at Delaware State University. So let's talk about something that's really important, getting a roof over your head and getting some housing, okay? Can you put up the slide, please? There it goes. All right, so as you can see from the slide, and what you've heard from prior people on this forum is saying getting registered is quite important, okay? So that's the number one thing you need to do. You need to get registered. Once you have your D100 and your DSU email, that should come easy for you, okay? But once you're registered for classes, there are only 3 simple steps that you need to do to achieve housing, okay? Number 1, you got to pay your deposit, okay? It's going to be $400 for our apartments, either the University Village apartments or the University Courtyard apartments, or $200 for any traditional housing we have on campus, okay? Like for instance, we have a state-of-the-art 620-bed facility called Tubman Laws. So that would be a traditional housing. Number 2, fill out your application via your DSU email. Okay, that's one thing that excited me. You're going to have a D100. You're part of us now. Okay, once you get that, the day that the applications come out, you will get a link sent to your DSU email. That's how we're going to communicate with you at all times. Okay, so April 20th is for the apartments. All right, April 27th is for any traditional housing. You'll get that email link or that housing application link in your email. Click on that and start your journey, okay? In order to be eligible for that, again, be registered for classes and pay your deposit, all right? So then just click the link, fill out a few simple questions. We're gonna ask you what housing facility that you want to live in. We're gonna ask you, hey, who do you want to be your roommate, which is very important to you, I understand. It's tough to live with just anybody, right? And then once you do that, you're also gonna fill out what meal plan you're gonna have. All students at DSU must have a meal plan. Okay, the only exception to that is if you live in a university courtyard apartments, you do not have to have a meal plan, but yes, you can have one. Okay. Now on the application, you will have the opportunity again to let us know who you want to room with, and we're going to do our very best because we want you happy. If you're happier, then everybody's happier. So we want you to have the roommate that you can, and we will do our best to do that. Now remember, I said there's three things. That number 3 thing is to sit back and wait for us to send you your housing assignment to your email. Okay, if you can imagine, there's thousands coming in, so you got to give us a little time, be a little patient, and we will then send you exactly where you're going to be living for the fall 2021 semester. Now, I know this could be a lot to someone who hasn't gone through our process before, but let me tell you, it's easy, and we're right here for you, okay? So if you want to give us a call, 302-857-6326. That is our housing office number. And if you want to email us, it's housing@desu.edu. We'll even walk you through it if need be. I know it can be tough sometimes, but once you get the hang of it, it'll be old hat for you, okay? So we're eager to answer any questions and give you the answers that you need for that. All right. Thanks a lot, Dr. DeLauder, and thank you, Hornets.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. That ends our presentation portion. We'll be happy to address any questions if there are any, Mr. McMillan. If there are any questions, we can entertain them now.
Okay, just letting everyone know, please submit your questions through the chat. Currently, we do not have any questions listed, but let's give them a couple of minutes to see someone put something in the chat.
Sure.
First question on the information, give me one. On the information sheet, there was released about housing. It said that Tubman laws couldn't be paid with scholarships. So if I am an academic scholarship, can I not live in Tubman?
I think that's a Mr. Holmes question.
Sort of. Ms. Parker could probably weigh in on that as well too. But yes, students that receive institutional funds won't be able to live in Tubman laws. How you're going to find that out is getting with student accounts and finding out if you're eligible to live in that building.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it was discussed, but what about those slated to graduate in December? What do we do about that?
Students slated to graduate in December regarding enrollment. The expectation would be that you would register now and continue as a Delaware State University student. Your plan of study, Delaware State has committed to teach out all programs. So any students that are currently upperclassmen, seniors, their programs of studies will be taught out. And as our registrar noted, you would continue as a Delaware State student. Your academic history will be loaded, and our advising team at Wesley is here to assist with your registration to make sure not only that the courses carry over at Delaware State, but that we have your academic history as we are assisting you in matriculating forward. I hope I answered your question.
Are we going to have to take a COVID vaccine in order to be on campus? And for financial aid, will scholarships transfer over? So a two-part question.
So I don't think that our enterprise risk management team has made a final decision around vaccines for the university. That has not been communicated. As for the scholarships, as the acquisition moves forward, your scholarships at Wesley will not transfer to Delaware State University, but there are opportunities at the university. And so we would ask you to follow up with our admissions office team regarding any scholarship opportunities there.
What is the capacity of housing for the fall semester?
So we're still working on our fall plan, but again, giving the timeline for vaccines and testing, we would expect to be most likely 80 to 90% or even at 100% capacity. We are planning for 100% capacity, but of course, we have to make sure that we have those safe. We have to make sure that we are safeguarding as we move forward for fall. I see we're joined by our president. Did you want to? Well, that was a question about housing for fall. I noted that we were planning.
I wanted to go back to the question about scholarships.
Okay.
That is true that the Wesley scholarship doesn't transfer, but remember, particularly Wesley students, the tuition is significantly less at Delaware State than it is at Wesley. That's a very important thing to know. Secondly, you will have opportunities for even more scholarships at Delaware State University. One of those reasons is because we're a part of the HBCU network. So there are scholarships at the school, but more broadly around our Thurgood Marshall College Fund partners and other corporations. So we suspect that you will have a less of a financial burden as you join the Delaware State University family.
Thank you. Next question. Let's see. The age limit for housing, I assume I think it's 18, but I'll let Mr. Holmes answer that one.
And they could be speaking someone maybe older than your average.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It could be. In that case, there's not necessarily a limit. We have enough housing here at DSU, different styles that, you know, as long as we know, we'll be able to get you housing. So there's not necessarily an age limit in that regard.
Right. As long as you're enrolled as a Delaware State University student. All right.
I do want to
Okay.
go back to, if I could, Madam Provost, two questions about housing. One was about scholarships for Tubman Laws. And I think Brother Holmes mentioned this, the institutional support not to be used. Just to be clear for the students who respect the institutional support, that is not outside scholarships. If you have outside scholarships, they can absolutely be applied with respect to housing. These are scholarships from the university that we award. Those we would not apply to your housing accommodation. And there will be some exceptions in that case, but generally speaking, that's how we think about that. So think about the outside scholarships you receive outside of the university still being eligible. And then I think Brother Holmes also talked about the housing options. I know our Wesley students are probably wondering about housing on the Wesley campus. I imagine some of our Delaware State students are too. Obviously, we are working through our final negotiations with the Wesley leadership, but our expectation is that we will have housing on the Wesley campus, and that'll be housing that you are accustomed to. So more details to come on that.
Thank you. I see several questions around classes. We are planning for online this summer. We are still looking at our classes for fall. Again, given the vaccination focus of President Biden, we are expecting to be mostly face-to-face. I have asked the Chair's Council to look at the capacity to come back at 100%. If that is in a hybrid format or a virtual format or some type, we should be able to produce that information by the end of this month. And there, again, it will be a part of the marketing plan for fall. Currently, we are doing a twice a week testing protocol. And again, that'll be a part of our fall opening plan, the frequency of that plan. We do have our own testing lab here, Delaware State, and it's we just opened it. It's at the Wilmington campus. We're doing the saliva test now. We're just transitioning to that. And we do test twice a week here. So all students, faculty, staff that are on campus are expected to participate in that testing protocol. Okay. The process to graduate in December, I will let President Allen address that. So the process is we do applications for graduation. But the questions around graduation, I'll let President Allen address that.
We are graduating in the spring as our normal cadence. So we typically have a December graduation. We did not have one this year. I don't anticipate that we will have the ceremony this year in the December timeframe, but that doesn't mean you will not get your credential. So you will be a graduate of Delaware State University, but what you might know as walking will happen in the following spring.
The question about the process, it's an application that's completed, reviewed by the advisor, and submitted to the registrar's office. We use DegreeWorks. The registrar mentioned that. That's our audit software package. All students have access to that in our student information system. That's Banner, using your ID number, as the registrar explained. All of that is in self-service Banner. So you can go in and actually monitor your progression. But the audit is submitted, and it's usually by the end of September, and all of your credentials are reviewed and noting if there are any issues. But if everything progresses, you'll be ready. And as the president noted, you will receive your credentials. We are looking at housing for graduate students. So as Mr. Holmes noted, if you are an enrolled student here, there should not be an issue around housing and capacity. And the question about if you'd have to, yes, so to be sure, yes, you would have to express your interest in continuing by registering. And that was the point of today's forum, to explain to Wesley students the process for registration. Registration is required to obtain housing. All of those pieces work in concert here. Okay, the question about internship, I'm not clear. We generally have internship opportunities. Those are managed primarily by our Career Services Office, but they're not just in Delaware. They can be nationwide depending on the program of study. But a lot of our programs that are professional, most of the field placements would be within the state. For our professional programs like social work, they would be in the state, and of course our education programs and nursing. Are there any more questions? Well, I guess if there are no more questions, we look forward to continue working with you. And okay, so Wesley students usually get permission to stay home for their internships if they are approved. So they wanted to make sure they were still able to do that. Okay, you mean live at home versus on campus?
Yeah,
Hey, Christine,
sometimes that's what,
Christine, could
sorry,
you
that
help
was,
us with that?
sometimes that's what some of our academic departments allow for them to, if they get approval for their internship location, then oftentimes they allow for them to stay home and do their internship and still have their research class. I think that was what that question from the student was in terms of being able to remain at their home other than in Delaware.
Oh, okay. You mean out of state? Okay, so yes, that is a program specific. They would have to get permission from their advisor, from their faculty advisor. Okay, yeah. Okay, so the question around how would you know who your advisor is? So Ms. Segbe went over that, but that would just be a question directly to our Office of Student Success. They're organized by college. Each college has professional advisors. Ms. McDermott and Dr. Archibald are here to provide support to Wesley students. So contact their office and they will assist us in navigating your advisor assignments. Again, they are organized by program and your last name in the alphabet. There's a question here about nursing.
Can you read it out loud, Dr. Delaware?
Okay, so the question is, for the Wesley students, will our advisor for the DSU nursing department be nursing faculty? If not, is there a nursing instructor that could aid us in our transfer and answer any questions? So yes, most definitely. We have, again, our model here, we are transitioning to a full professional model with professional advisors. Department chairs and department faculty are there to assist as well. So because we've gone to a professional model format doesn't mean that faculty and staff aren't there to assist with your matriculation. So there should not be any major concern there. But I would again contact Ms. McDermott as your first point of contact to assist with the transition. The last question here is that the student notes that she works at a VA hospital. Who does she see to assist with the scholarship forms? So the VA is funding you. Is that the question? And so this would be an outside scholarship. I believe that would go through our enrollment management office. That's a third-party scholarship, if I'm understanding the question correctly.
Yeah, it's probably best.
Yes,
for
ma'am.
Yeah, it's
I'm
probably
sorry.
best for you to spend time with Terrell Holmes, who I
Yep.
think you see on the screen now,
Yep.
and Al Dorsett, who you heard from earlier.
Yeah, you can report to the registrar's office. We can help you with your VA benefits, how to file them, how we can certify you as it relates to your fall 21 semester.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Dr. DeLauder, before we close, I want to make sure that we've given our Wesley colleagues an opportunity to chime in here. First of all, thank you all for being here. Do you have any additional thoughts for our incoming Wesley students?
I just want to say to our Wesley students, and well, first to all of you, thank you for letting Danielle and I have this opportunity to be able to meet with everyone today and work with all of you. If you have any students who are on this call or any faculty or staff who are on this call as well, if you have questions, please direct them to me and Danielle. Danielle and I know information, much of the information that you're asking. So, and if we cannot answer you right away, we will get the answers for you.
Dr. Archibald?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to thank everyone for allowing us to be here and participate. Dr. Allen, as you mentioned before, the power of we is great, and we're going to use our collective power to make sure everyone has a smooth transition, and we help our Wesley folks integrate into their new home at Delaware State University.
Fantastic. Thank you both for being here. Dr. Lott, I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, that completes our panel for today. I want to thank all of our panelists for a very informative session, and to our Wesley students, we look forward to continuing working with you and as you matriculate for a successful journey here at Delaware State University. Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Stay safe.
Bye.
Can I close it?